The Baron of Mauá, the life and legacy of Irineu Evangelista de Souza. The story of the Baron of Mauá, or Irineu Evangelista de Souza, is one of ambition, resilience, and groundbreaking achievement. Mauá, the city that inspired his noble title, became synonymous with his legacy as one of Brazil's most influential entrepreneurs. His life, from humble beginnings to industrial pioneering and eventual financial collapse, serves as a timeless example of vision and perseverance. The early years, humble beginnings in Arroio Grande. Irineu Evangelista de Souza was born on December 28, 1813, in Arroio Grande, a remote and rural town in Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil's southernmost state. Life in Arroio Grande was harsh and isolated, defined by cattle ranching and the production of charque, salted beef, which supplied Brazil's burgeoning markets. His family's modest means and the region's economic limitations set the stage for his extraordinary journey. At the age of 6, tragedy struck. Irineu's father, João Evangelista de Souza, was murdered during a cattle drive under mysterious circumstances. The family's financial stability crumbled, and Irineu's mother, Mariana, was left a widow with 2 young children to care for. Facing immense pressure, she remarried, but her new husband refused to raise her children from her first marriage. This forced young Irineu and his sister to seek alternative living arrangements. Irineu's sister married young to secure stability, while he was sent to Rio de Janeiro to live with his maternal uncle. This marked the beginning of his transformative journey. Before leaving, Irineu promised his mother and sister that he would work tirelessly to improve their lives. It was a promise he carried with him throughout his life. Arrival in Rio de Janeiro, the gateway to opportunity. Arriving in Rio de Janeiro as a boy of 9, Irineu found himself in Brazil's bustling capital. The city, though a center of commerce and politics, was deeply stratified, with rigid social hierarchies and limited mobility for the underprivileged. Most manual labor was performed by enslaved people, while the wealthy elite controlled the nation's politics and economy. Irineu's first job was as a helper in a wholesale merchant's shop. Known for his curiosity and quick learning, he made an impression early on. Unlike many others in his position, Irineu refused to settle for mediocrity. He taught himself to read and write and developed a keen interest in mathematics. His employer soon took notice of his potential, entrusting him with greater responsibilities. By the time Irineu was 14, he was managing the shop's finances, holding the key to its safe, and earning a reputation for reliability and intellect. This caught the attention of Richard Carruthers, a British merchant with significant influence in Rio de Janeiro. Carruthers saw Irineu's potential and offered him a position in his trading company. Mentorship and early business success. Imagine a young man with a sharp mind and an unstoppable drive, stepping into a world of possibilities under the guidance of a seasoned mentor. Working under Richard Carruthers was more than a job for Irineu, it was an education. The British merchant introduced him to the vast world of international trade and modern business practices. Carruthers operated with a philosophy of free markets, efficiency, and innovation, principles that were revolutionary in Brazil's economy at the time. Irineu quickly learned English and immersed himself in finance. He studied how the British ran their enterprises, which were light years ahead of Brazil's agricultural and slave-dependent economy. This exposure gave him a vision for what Brazil could become, a modernized, industrialized nation. At the age of 23, Irineu was no longer just an employee. He became a partner in Carruthers' firm, an extraordinary achievement for someone from such humble beginnings. By 26, however, his ambitions had outgrown his mentor's business. Irineu struck out on his own, determined to bring the Industrial Revolution to Brazil, a dream that would define his life. The industrial dreamer, building Brazil's future. Irineu Evangelista de Souza understood that Brazil's reliance on slavery and agriculture was unsustainable. The country lagged far behind the industrialized nations of Europe and North America. Inspired by his time with Carruthers, Irineu envisioned a Brazil powered by factories, railroads, and modern financial institutions. His first major project was the Ponta de Areia foundry in Niterói, a city across the bay from Rio de Janeiro. This industrial complex was Brazil's first large factory and produced steam-powered ships, machinery for agriculture, and infrastructure materials like pipes and boilers. The foundry became a symbol of progress, demonstrating that Brazil could compete on the global stage. Building this foundry was no small feat. Irineu had to secure funding, import technology, and convince skeptical investors that Brazil could succeed in manufacturing. Yet, through sheer determination, he turned his vision into reality. The foundry not only created jobs but also helped modernize Brazil's economy by reducing reliance on imports. But Irineu's ambitions didn't stop there. In 1854, he inaugurated Brazil's first railroad, connecting Rio de Janeiro to Petrópolis, a mountainous region that was difficult to access. This project not only revolutionized transportation but also set a precedent for infrastructure development in the country. The railroad was a testament to his belief in progress and innovation. It was during the inauguration of this railroad that Emperor Dom Pedro II granted him the noble title of the Baron of Mauá, named after the city of Mauá in recognition of his contributions to Brazil's progress. A global entrepreneur, expanding horizons. The Baron of Mauá was not content with success in Brazil alone. He expanded his ventures internationally, establishing connections and businesses in Uruguay, Argentina, England, and the United States. These ventures included banks. Mauá founded financial institutions that supported trade and investment across South America. Gas companies. He introduced gas-powered streetlights in cities like Montevideo, modernizing urban infrastructure. Shipyards and factories. His industrial operations in Uruguay and Argentina supported regional economic growth. His vision wasn't confined to Brazil. Irineu believed that by connecting Brazil to global markets, he could accelerate its development. In Europe, he partnered with influential financiers, adopting cutting-edge technologies and securing investments that fueled his projects back home. His global outlook set him apart from his contemporaries, establishing him as one of the most forward-thinking entrepreneurs of his time. The fight against slavery and traditionalism. One of the Baron of Mauá's most radical beliefs was his opposition to slavery. He viewed the institution not only as morally wrong but also as an impediment to Brazil's progress. Unlike other businessmen of his era, Mauá relied on skilled, paid labor, often hiring European immigrants to work in his factories and railroads. This stance put him at odds with Brazil's elite, many of whom were plantation owners who depended on enslaved labor. Mauá's progressive views earned him enemies among the traditional ruling class, who saw his ideas as a threat to their economic and social dominance. Challenges and opposition. Success often breeds resistance, and for the Baron of Mauá, opposition came from all sides. His ambitious push for industrialization and free market policies directly clashed with the interests of Brazil's conservative elites. Many of these elites, deeply entrenched in the plantation economy, viewed Mauá's ideas as a threat to their way of life. Sabotage, restrictive laws, and political maneuvering became constant hurdles. The Tarifa Silva Ferraz, for instance, reduced tariffs on imported goods, making it cheaper to buy from abroad than to support local industries like Mauá's. This deliberate policy aimed to weaken industrialists like him and protect the agricultural status quo. But the challenges weren't limited to politics. Mauá also faced physical threats to his businesses. Fires broke out in his factories under suspicious circumstances, and contracts were cancelled without explanation. Despite these obstacles, he remained steadfast, adapting his strategies and fighting for his vision of a modern Brazil. A deeper look into Mauá's business strategies. The Baron of Mauá was not just a dreamer, he was a strategist. His business acumen combined innovation with practicality, allowing him to navigate Brazil's complex and often hostile economic landscape. Let's explore some of the core principles that defined his strategy.
Diversification. Mauá didn't rely on a single industry. From railroads and gas companies to banking and shipyards, he spread his investments to minimize risk and capitalize on multiple opportunities. Adoption of modern practices. He embraced technological advancements and implemented professional management systems, which were rare in Brazil at the time. This set his businesses apart and made them more efficient. Global networking. Mauá built relationships with international financiers and industrialists, bringing foreign investment and expertise into Brazil. These connections gave him an edge in accessing capital and technology. Vision for infrastructure. His railroads and factories weren't just businesses, they were tools to modernize Brazil's economy and integrate its regions. Resilience in crisis. When faced with setbacks, Mauá adapted. For instance, after political opposition weakened his industries, he shifted focus to agriculture, proving his ability to reinvent himself. These strategies demonstrate how the Baron of Mauá combined bold ideas with pragmatic execution, making him a true pioneer in Brazilian entrepreneurship. The legacy of the Baron of Mauá. The Baron of Mauá passed away on October 21, 1889, just weeks before the proclamation of the Brazilian Republic. Though his later years were marked by financial struggles, his contributions to Brazil's development were undeniable. He laid the foundation for industrialization, modernized infrastructure, and inspired future generations of entrepreneurs. Today, Mauá's name remains synonymous with progress, innovation, and resilience. His story serves as a reminder that vision and determination can overcome even the most formidable obstacles. The Baron's legacy endures in the institutions he built, the ideas he championed, and the inspiration he provides to entrepreneurs around the world. As we look back on his life, we are reminded that true progress comes not from following the path of least resistance, but from blazing new trails. Who was the greatest entrepreneur in Brazil's history? Irineu Evangelista de Souza, the Baron of Mauá, undeniably changed the course of Brazil's economic and industrial history. But what do you think? Was he the greatest entrepreneur Brazil has ever seen, or do other figures rival his legacy? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and tell us who inspires you the most in the world of business and innovation. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the incredible life of the Baron of Mauá. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to share it with your friends and join the conversation. Together, we celebrate the visionaries who shape our world.